Welcome back to our shop just outside Kennesaw here in North Georgia. My name's Larry. This is part 4, if you can believe it, of the restoration of this Singer sewing machine from 1927. We're restoring the cabinet and the base. Today what we're going to do is apply veneer to the two pieces that were missing the veneer, and we got our walnut veneer in yesterday, and let me show you that to you now. We've got a 2 foot wide by I think 8 feet. Yeah, 8 foot long strip of paperback walnut veneer. The veneer is gorgeous. Very happy with it. I got up early this morning and laid it out flat on the table so it take a little bit of the curl out of it because it is shipped rolled up like almost like a poster. And the next step is to start to cut a piece, and I'll show you how I apply it. And this is our lid. The veneer is going to go on top, but as you can see, the sides of the lid go out. So if we cut along this edge, the piece will be just a little bit bigger than we need, which is perfect for what we want to accomplish. We'll lay it on top and then we'll trim the edges. The most important thing, in my opinion, when you lay this out, other than to make sure that you don't go too short, is to make sure you get your grain direction in the right way and don't get your piece cocked so your grain runs diagonally. You want it nice and straight with the edge of the board. So what I'm going to do is get a razor and cut this out, and we'll get ready to put it on. You're always better to score a number of times rather than try to blow through it on your first try. And there's our piece of veneer. And we're looking at one of two recessed hinge mortises in the main tabletop. And once we cover this with veneer, all of these are going to be covered, and we need to know where they are because I've got to be able to mortise them back out. So what I do is I just take a small square here and I put it right up against the edge, and I just extend this line onto a piece of tape. And I do that for both edges of the mortise. And now we're going to measure how far in we go. And that's 5/8. So I'll write that in. And how deep do we go? About 1.5 inches. And I'll repeat this on the other side, and that way we've got something that we can use when we start to work to chisel these out, so we're not working blind. There are many ways to adhere veneer to a substrate. You can use regular PVA glue, you can use hide glue. The issue becomes, how do you clamp it down? Now, in larger shops, they have what's called a vacuum press, where you would just put PVA glue on here, PVA glue on the substrate, you flip them over, and then you put them in a press that actually draws a vacuum and then puts so many psi of even pressure across there while it dries. I don't have one of those, and for me to be able to use PVA glue, I would have to glue it, lay the template or lay the veneer on top of it, and then use another board and a bunch of clamps and weights and hope I got even pressure, and I don't like to do that. So what I've been using for the last several years, and I've had nothing but good luck with it, on backed veneer, which is what this is this Weldwood contact cement. And basically what it is, it's a cement you paint it on both sides of your project to give it 15 minutes to cure, and then when you put one on top of the other, they fuse together. This is the stuff that they put kitchen laminate down with. So the next step is to lay this out on both pieces and give it 15 minutes to harden up. I've got a brand new can of this, which I bought just for this project. I've already got it stirred up, so let's get it on. always pay particularly good attention to the edges, because that's where a lot of your failures will be as the years go by. And this is where all the work that we did to get this piece flat and smooth will pay off for us, because we'll get adhesion across the entire surface. Okay, I'll bring you back in 15 minutes. Okay, time's up. Time to earn our pay. I take some clean dowels, lay them across here. Remember, when this touches, it's down. Next, I take this tool here and force this down, working it out towards the edges. We got every bit of that surface we want in contact. And I'm pushing down just about as hard as I can on this. Just be careful when you get to the edges that you don't crack your veneer. And then the directions would like you to follow it up with a J roller. That's what this is. And they want you to push down about as hard as you can. Okay, she's down. I think we'll just set it aside and give it an hour or so before we trim it. Okay, I'm going to do the other one off camera, same way. Bring you back. And here's our lid with its new veneer on. I trimmed the excess, just flipped it upside down, and I used a scalpel to run around here. Lessons learned department, I would have sanded these edges clean before I put the veneer on. I'll remember that next time, I hope. Only because with this veneer on I have to be real careful sanding, and I'm using my finger with a piece of sandpaper. That's kind of a pain in the neck, where if this veneer was off I could have gotten pretty aggressive here and wouldn't have cared about what the top came out like. But there it is. I think it looks really, really nice. And here's the underside that we saved. That's the antique walnut. And there's the new stuff. And of course it hasn't been colored yet. Alright, I'm going to trim the big piece, and let me show you how I do that. And you're looking at the underside of the large piece, and you can see this whole field here needs to go. You obviously you could use a router with a straight trim bit along here, but this is angled, and a mistake with a router can be pretty significant. So I know my limitations, and I choose to cut this out with a razor blade. In this case, I'll be using a scalpel. I had a viewer suggestion to use a scalpel to trim veneer, particularly on cross grain cuts. With this particular veneer that we're working with, it works exceptionally well, so thank you. But I'm going to trim this out, trim the edges, and we'll sand the edges, and we'll probably be done for the day. So let me set you up where you can watch in fast motion, and I'll get to work. Okay, I hope you can see these light marks, but using these, I went up 5/8 of an inch, then I went over here to 1.5 inches, and right in here should be our hinge. Or our hinge mortise, rather. And it is. Okay, all I got to do now is just clean that out with a razor or a chisel or whatever, and take care of the other one. So I will bring you back. We'll take that as a win for the home team. One more to go. Well, here they are, all re-veneered. I think they look great. That's going to be it for today. We'll come back. We still got to strip all the rest of the wood parts. We got to wire brush the base. The base has got to be painted, and then all the wood has got to be refinished. So we still got a ton of work to do. But listen, from our shop just outside Kennesaw here in North Georgia. Best regards. Thanks for watching. Take good care. We'll see you next video. And remember, it's just wood, color, some shiny stuff. See you next video for part 5? I forgot. I think it's 5. Take care. Bye.